Shalawam. I'm your brother Yahawah from the branch of GMS, South Carolina Midlands. And before I start off, all praise, honor, and glory belongs to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, HaQadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. And Shalawam to you, hopeful elect, scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. To you, I say Shalawam. As you can see here on the screen, April's full pink moon will rise in the night sky this week. And it's apparently supposed to rise April the 1st, Wednesday, at about like 10, 11, 10, 12-ish tonight, which we know us hopeful members of the elect, we're going to be holding the Passover. A very solemn assembly. It's something serious. It's not a plaything. It's not, something that you should take lightly. Of course, Judges 5 and 11, we're rehearsing the righteous acts, but, we take this day and we take this time very seriously, all right, because we want, the Lord to pass over us, man. We want Yahawah to, have mercy on us. And plus, we're showing that we believe, man. We're showing our faith by our works. All right, but nonetheless, this is an indicator. This is a sign of, the second return of our Lord and our Savior. Yahawashi is not. Also an indicator that the so-called white man, Esau, Edom, his kingdom is up. So I'm gonna read a little bit into it. It says, sky watchers can soon catch the spring season's first full moon rising in the night sky. And just this morning while I was dropping off my son, so he can catch the bus, on my way back to the crib, I seen pretty much the moon. I guess it wasn't fully a full moon, all right, but it was full enough, and it was bloodshot red, man. It was real dark and eerie. And apparently tonight, it's going to be a pink moon. So it's similar to red. Still going to be a blood moon nonetheless. Okay, so this is a telltale sign that, Yahawashi is about to return. It's a telltale sign that Yahawashi is about to bring judgment, in the planet Earth, man. All right, it says April's full pink moon will peak at 10:11 p.m. Eastern, and that stands for Eastern time. Over here in Babylon the Great, Wednesday, according to time and date. Despite the mooniker, the silver orb will appear in its usual brilliant gray hue. All right, so I ain't really got to go too much into it, but I read a little bit more. It says the lunar event's rosy name instead pays tribute to early spring bloom of Phlox subulata. All right, the wildflower species native to eastern northern America. It says it often called moss pink, which typically flowers around April full moon, according to the Old Farmer's Almanac. All right, yada yada yada. All right, but nonetheless, just dealing with this sign, because all of our people, a lot of Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, don't see this as a sign from Yahawashi, but as hopeful members of the elect, we do. All right, you can see the title, The Return of a Mashiach. And this is, St. Luke, the 21st chapter, is getting into those signs. We see the wars and the rumors of wars, nations rise against nations, earthquakes in diverse places. These things are happening, and these are part of more of the signs: blood moons, lunar eclipses, also along with solar eclipses, planetary alignments, All those are part of the signs as well. And it says, St. Luke 21:25. Oh, chariots, angels in the sky. And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon. And I played a video in one of my videos earlier this week. How, there's people watching the sun, and the sun having these massive solar flares, which they're saying that can disrupt things going on here in the planet Earth, cause earthquakes, blackouts, similar to like EMPs. Okay, so we gotta be on the lookout for those things. So signs in the sun, eclipses. We had one in 2014. We had one previous in 2017, and it made an X over America, Babylon the Great, man. Okay, it says, and there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon, blood moons, lunar eclipses. Okay, these are the telltale signs that Yahawah is showing us here in these latter days, that his word is faithful and true. He's about to bring judgment. Yahawashi is about to return, man. The devil, Esau, is about to come out of power, man. Okay? He's making it evident for us too, man. All right? He's having this pink moon or this blood moon happen during the time of the Passover, man. Okay? And then you had, I want to say a couple weeks ago, if not about a month ago, the Lord had a blood moon happen on the Sabbath. Okay? So these are signs, man. These ain't just coincidence. All right? This is a sign from the heavens. It says, and it's like, and there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars. Your different planetary alignments. All right, different chariot sightings you see within the sky. Even though our people are faithless, Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, they can't see the signs for what they are. They can't look at the face of the sky and see, the chariots of the Lord, planetary alignments, and tell you anything of it. They just in the same category of the heathen. They dismayed at the signs of heaven, when the scriptures tell us not to be dismayed at the signs of the heaven, because the heathen are dismayed at it. All right. But it says, and upon the earth distress of nations. And you see a lot of our people, not just our people, the people, even the heathens, all right, Edomites, Moabites, Hamites, Ishmaelites, they're going through hell, man. All right. Why? Because the wicked is in power. Okay. This devil is putting a strain on economies around the world, making it unbearable, especially here in America, Babylon the Great. All right. And these people are being lured right into the trap of the devil. Okay. To where he's about to push that MO to the TB. All right. That RFID micro C-hip as the new form of buying and selling, man. Okay. And upon the earth distress of nations. All right, let me see what that word distress goes into. Okay.
Strong's G 4928. Sunache. Sunache.
It says a holding together, a narrowing, the contracting part of the way. Metaphor, straits. Yeah, straits. Difficulties, man. Distress, anguish. Okay. Anxiety, restraint. Okay. And we know that this devil, Esau, is known as a serpent. Okay. He's putting a squeeze on these people out here, man. The dollar is about to eventually collapse, man. Okay. All the so-called rich and the middle class, all that's about to be X'd out, man. You're just going to have the wicked elite and the poor and the rest of the people here in the planet Earth, here in Babylon the Great. Okay? That's the type of world, new world order this devil is bringing the people under, man. All right? And upon the earth, distress of nations with perplexity. And that word perplexity goes into confusion. Our people and the people of Babylon the Great, and people around the world are dealing under great confusion right now, because they can't tie everything that's happening biblically. They can't tie it to biblical prophecy. All right, which the understanding of these biblical prophecies, or having this wisdom, this knowledge and understanding, is what's going to be the stability of our times. All right, pursuant to Isaiah 33:6, and we know that access to this truth hasn't been given to everybody, and it hasn't been given to all of our people. All right, this app, man, I can't even close it out, man. All right, but you get the gist. Isaiah 33:6, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. So I quoted it. Yahawashi gonna have us, in the right state of mind, and having us in the know on how to operate in these times, to react spiritually. All right, to be still and know that Yahawashi is power, man. All right, the Lord gonna be working on our behalf, but for the mass majority of our people, which that's who we out there for. We're out there for Israel, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. They're getting ready to bug out, man, because they trust in oppression. They trust in the so-called white man. All right, so they're getting ready to bug out. They already bugging out, man. Okay, they already don't know what's going on, man. All right, but it says, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, and the sea and the waves roaring. So, seeing how all these things are taking place, our people are going to be left out there, man. I'm talking about the mass majority of our people, the ones who Yahawashi told us not to pray for, because they heard the same word that we heard, but that word didn't profit them. They didn't fear the word of Yahawashi. So that's why they're going to be destroyed. It says, men's heart failing them for fear, for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the power of heaven shall be shaken. All right. And, seeing all these calamities, the stress, the anarchy, the destruction that Yahawashi is bringing, our people are literally about to, die of fear, man. Okay. All the plagues that Yahawashi gonna be hitting this place, Babylon the Great, with the plague of darkness. All right. And remember, in ancient Egypt, you had the apparitions, reading Wisdom of Solomon, the 17th chapter. The collapse of normal society, buying and selling, going to and fro to work, business as usual. All that's gonna be collapsed. Troops in the streets, civil unrest, World War III. All right, bodies dropping left and right, man. It's about to be all hell out here, man. So people about to die of fear. You're gonna be seeing the chariots, the angels zapping people. Yahawashi. This is about to be a fearful time, man. But Yahawashi gonna be right there with his elect, and it says, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in the cloud with power and great glory. Yahawashi returning on that fathership, man. Okay, that massive chariot of salvation, man. Okay, pursuant to Habakkuk 3:8, it says, and when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. This is what it all means for us, man. Let's hope for members of the elect. Lord will, we have that number. This is all an indication that Yahawashi is about to return, and Yahawashi is our salvation, man. Okay, the right hand of the Heavenly Father, Yahawah, man. All right, the second Exodus, man. All right, where the Lord is about to deliver his people. Yahawashi about to deliver his people once more, man. Jeremiah 16:14. And it says, look, title, the Most High, or God, will restore them. And let's talk about Israel. It says, therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi, that it shall no more be said, the Lord, Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi, liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. Talk about ancient Egypt, all right, which was a heavy salvation that Yahawashi brought upon, you know, his people, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, man, all his people during that time. All right, but the Lord, Yahawah liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north. And this is only going to be for the elect, man. All right, here in America, the land of the north, the northern hemisphere, North America, okay? And from all the lands whither he had driven them, from the South America, Canada, the islands, different continents around the world, man. Okay? And that was via captivity, Deuteronomy 28:60, 4th chapter, man. The Lord scattered us into all nations, man. All right? But it says, and I will bring them again into their land, and I gave unto their fathers. And, you know, the Lord made sure he gathered his elect via this word, via the Holy Spirit. You know, Isaiah 34:16, his spirit, had gathered them. All right? And through the belief in this word, you know, is how we're going to be saved when Hamashiach, Yahawashi, returns to this planet Earth, man. We're about to see it, man. Okay? The Lord said he got plans for us, man. Plans of peace and not of evil, man. Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord, Yahawah, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end, man. I'm reading the NLT, for I know the plans I have for you, saith the Lord, Yahawah, they are plans for good and not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope, man. And that's the kingdom, everlasting kingdom, new bodies, righteousness forever, man. Okay? And these signs, the signs in the sun, the moon, the stars, earthquakes, wars and rumors of wars, pestilence, famine. Yeah, famine is on the rise too. That's one of the plagues. The judgments Yahawah bringing, lack of food, lack of water. And the whole closing off the Strait of Hormuz with this war is causing disruption, supply chain disruption. You know, higher gas prices, higher grocery prices. And it's going to get worse, man. All right, so these are indications that we pick up through the Spirit, through measuring the times, pursuing the 2nd Esdras 9:1. You know, measuring the time diligently in itself. We know that we're close, man. Salvation is close. All right? And I want to get this real quick, dealing with the moon. Sirach 43:6. It says, he made the moon also to serve in her season, for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. So how do we keep up with the times as it pertains into, you know, our Sabbaths, or what month we're in? Okay? You know, it is through the moon. Okay? It says, from the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection. Okay? And dealing with what? The feast of unleavened bread, you know, pertaining to the Passover. Okay, how do you indicate that? Through the moon cycle. All right. It says the month is called after her name. So dealing with the moon, the month is called after her name, the moon. Okay. And we know that we're in the real first month of the year, according to the new moon and the seasons, the season we're in, springtime. This is the first month of the year where things bring forth life, not in the dead of winter. Okay? And, you know, this how you know we're, you know, rehearsing the righteous acts and keeping it to the best of our ability, because we don't know exactly what year we're in, but exactly, you know, what's the date on the year. Okay? Because Esau, he done changed times and, you know, and seasons. Okay? I believe we're on the Roman calendar, if I'm not mistaken. All right? But nonetheless, the month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, all right? Being the heavenly hosts. It says shining in the firmament of heaven. So it shows you the importance of the moon. Okay? And the month is determined from what? The first day of the month is determined by the new moon. Not a full moon. Not a full moon. A new moon. Okay? So, you know, we keep the first month of the 14th day of the first month, pertaining to the Passover, the keeping of the Passover. Okay, 14 days after the new moon. It's just that simple. Okay, the feast of unleavened bread, and this day shall be unto you for a memorial. Right? You know, and you get that word memorial real quick. It's pertaining to the Pesach.
Strong's H 2146. Zikaron.
It says memorial, reminder, remembrance, records. Okay, it's supposed to keep you in your remembrance. All right, on this day, on Yahawashi, and ye shall keep it a feast. And how do we keep those feasts, right? By the moon. Sirach 43 and verse 7. From the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection. Okay, it says, and ye shall keep it a feast to the Lord Yahawah Bahasham throughout your generations. Ye shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day unto the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel. So any, bread products that contain leaven, which causes the bread to rise, you got to get that out your house and not eat it for 7 days. It says, in the first day, there shall be an holy convocation. How you determine the first day? Okay? By the new moon, where the moon is not visible. Okay? Not the full moon. All right? In the middle of the month. Okay? It says, it shall be a holy convocation, and in the 7th day there shall be an holy convocation, all right, unto you. You get that word, holy convocation, just showing you how important this day is.
Strong's H 4744. Mikra.
It says convocation, convoking, reading, a calling together. It says convocation, sacred assembly. Okay, and get to the Strong's, it says also a rehearsal. Okay, so yeah, this ain't no plaything, man. All right, this ain't something you just like a cookout. We can eat lamb and drink wine, as I posted the video with the elder Apostle Tahar. I believe that Passover is from 2014. Okay, the Passover ain't no lamb dinner, man. Okay, it says, and in the 7th day there shall be a holy convocation to you. No manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat, that only may be done of you. And ye shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, for it is the selfsame day I have brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. And this is why we keep it. The Lord delivered us out of Egypt, man, and Israel only. Okay, and therefore ye shall observe this day in your generations by an ordinance forever. Okay, and eventually, as we will jump back to in Jeremiah the 16th chapter, the 15th verse, we're going to be speaking about the new Exodus. All right, it says, in the first month, that's what I wanted to get to, in the first month, all right, being in the springtime, and according to the new moon, the first month of the year, it says, and in the first month, on the 14th day of the month, okay, so from the new moon, count 14 evenings from there, okay, 14 days from there, it says, on the 14th day of the month, at evening, okay, which, we're holding the Passover, April 1st, all right, according to the new moon, All right, we're holding it on April 1st this year. It says, and ye shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the month at evening. So, all right, so the 21st day, 14 to 21, that's 7 days. Okay, so 7 days eat unleavened bread. And remember, we're just rehearsing the righteous act in the kingdom. We'll be perfect. We'll have everything together. And like I said, we're gonna be, of course, keeping the new Pesach, of us getting delivered, out of Babylon the Great, the land of the north, and all the lands whither he hath driven us via captivity. Jeremiah 16 and 15, and I'm gonna close it out. It says, but the Lord Yahawah liveth, that brought up the children of Israel, and that being the elect. Pursuant to St. Matthew 24, 30, and 31, the Lord is coming to gather his elect. Alright. It says, from the land of the north, okay, and from all the lands whither he hath driven them. And I will bring you again into their land, and I will bring them again unto their land that I gave unto their fathers. So all that the heathen, the small hats, Amalekites, fighting the Palestinians over the land, and now going to fight over with Iran to expand their greater Israel project. All that's gonna be null and void, man. Bahasham gonna destroy them devils and them heathens, get them out of the land, and the Lord gonna place us there, man. Alright. So yeah, man, just wanted to go into that, man. Lord will is edifying to the body of the hopeful elect, man. Just discerning the signs of the times, man. We're gonna have a pink moon this evening out of Rawchaa. And yeah, just know that our salvation, man, is nearer than when we believe, man. Romans 13 and 11. Lord will is edifying to the elect. With that I say shalom, shalom to the hopeful elect.